Okay, so next, we want a question from the audience. Who has a question? Come up here, please, so the camera can get you. Yes. Thank you.
Hello, thank you all for being here. My name is Ornella Barbara. I am host, producer, and DJ from KPFK, and I am producer for The Signal. Ray, very nice to meet you. We spoke this morning.
You know I'm going to charge you for that.
I
I'm
loved what
going
you
to
had
charge
to
you
say.
for that ad.
I understand. Okay, so I'm very passionate about what I'm going to ask. What are you going to do about the tortured, starving, abandoned dogs and cats across Los Angeles? Have any of you actually visited Skid Row, animal shelters? Have you seen the suffering with your own eyes? These animals cannot talk. They cannot not ask for help. They cannot vote. They only wait for your help.
Anybody want to? Okay, here we go.
Thank you. Assad Al-Najjar. Well, since I work for the city for 37 years and volunteer at the same time through the Empower LA Neighborhood Councils, the past 2 decades, I work very close with the homeless from San Pedro all the way to where I live in Porter Ranch. And I do visit all the animal shelters. I work close with all the volunteers. And one of the main problems for our animal shelters to start with is when all the operation became under general services, in which now the food has to go through general services. When you have incompetent general manager doesn't even know what to order, that goes to general services, you have animals in the shelter have nothing. Then when you go to downtown LA, it's 10-minute walk or less from our building in City Hall. You find them, right, you find the abuse of the animals. I don't want to use the rape of the animals. And many times, by the time we report it to the police, it's too late to come in.
Police doesn't even come.
All right, anybody want to address that?
So I actually have been to the animal shelters. I've been to Skid Row. I mean, I've spent a lot of time in Skid Row, actually. And recently also spent time in Skid Row with a rescue group that provides free clinics in Skid Row for many of our residents who live in or around Skid Row who can't afford services to be able to ensure that their pets are safe. Here is the reality. A couple years ago, I adopted my dog, who is a rescue herself, and I was so proud that during the pandemic, there were 0 animals in the shelter. We got to that point. It is completely the opposite situation now. We call ourselves a no-kill city. The reality is we are killing our animals left and right because our shelter system is so broken, it's been defunded. You all keep calling about defunding the police. The problem is the police has been defunding us, and we are not funding the services we need, like our animals. And I am somebody who actually does not believe Angelinos are only people, human beings with 2 feet. Our Angelinos are our 4-footed creatures, are our 2-winged creatures, right? This is Los Angeles. We need to be protecting our own. The way that we can do that is increasing the funds we need to actually ensure that we can provide spaying and neutering. We need to lower it's very difficult to get your animal neutered and spayed, actually. You have to go through this whole process. It's delayed. You have to wait for another month. We need to quicken this process and ensure that it's happening. We need to ensure that we are enforcing the laws. Oh, sorry. But let me just finish my statement, which is we need to enforce the laws to ensure that our animals are not being hurt by, and look, it's not just our in-house. Constantly we're talking about this, the animals who are being hurt in Skid Row. Whether you are housed or not, there's animals being hurt. What we need to do is stop the abuse everywhere and enforce the laws and ensure that we are ending all of that abuse. I'm so sorry.
All right.
I just feel really passionate about this.
I think we'll have one more because I think everybody agrees with this, right? So everybody's in agreement, so we won't have to. Go ahead since you're up. Yeah.
So Brian Acosta. So I want to have an animal protections unit in City Hall that has complete autonomy so that we can actually look at all the things that are happening, whether it's issues on Skid Row, things happening in the shelters, because from what I saw and heard from the shelter people is that people that actually want to change, they get shit on. And, you know, they get...
Really? I got to edit that. Really? I have to edit that out. Oh.
Are you? Sorry.
No, it's not. I have to edit it out.
No, it's not at this point.
But, we need to have whistleblower protection so that people can actually change things. And so those would be my priorities, to be able to have more autonomy so that people could actually create change, and also work with independent auditors to be able to actually change things in the city happening with regards to animals.
All right, let's move forward. I want to take a couple quick questions from the audience. Come up here. Okay, while I'm giving instructions.
I'll make it super fast because I don't feel like anybody's telling you what they're going to
ask-
actually do. Here's the thing. I have an actual solution for this, right? We need to have an auditing system where every person who has an animal on Skid Row, you have to have a license to have your animals, right? If you're a good owner and you're taking care of your animals, great, you keep your license. If you're not, if you're mistreating them, we revoke it. Then we create a bounty system. If you report somebody, because the breeders that are the problem. If you help report somebody who's a breeder and we find them, you get $2,000. Congratulations. You're going to help us police it ourselves. So we're going to create a system that actually encourages self-regulation. And so that's what I plan to do.
All right, that's what I like, solutions. Yeah, we're going to go to the next question also. I'm glad I want to hear solutions. Everybody talked about housing and homelessness, but I didn't hear a lot of concrete solutions to that. So let's get a quick questions. We're running out of time. We're going to go a little over because we started late. Line up there for the questions from the audience,
Okay,
please.
this is,
We'll go through them really quick.
Naibingi Kuti, thanks for doing this, Sylvester. And I just wonder if some of the people, especially the guy, the man right here that insulted Ray, have you ever listened to KPFK? KPFK is a progressive radio station. So you should respect our point of view when you come into our environment, because that remark that you made about her being from the Soviet Union was uncalled for. And
I think it's so.
it basically sounded like Trump. We don't need that environment in our space. I just want to let you know that. And also, one other thing, the Olympics. Why are
Question, and then
why are we talking about funding the Olympics? Our city doesn't deserve the Olympics. We have so much poverty in the city. Why are we proud to bring in other people here and we don't even have
All right,
money to take care
let's
of
see
our
who
own
wants to
citizens?
answer that question. Go ahead, Ray.
I would love to answer the question about the Olympics. Here's a question that we have not been asking as a city is, should we be holding the Olympics at all? Should we be canceling the Olympics? Right now, we know, and I talked this morning on Dino's show, the fact that the Olympics coming here is going to bankrupt our city. We already know that. We, Angelinos, are gonna be on the hook for the hundreds of the billions of dollars that we're gonna have to owe after it's done. We have not seen the budget come through, so we are at risk of that. Second, we know already that surveillance has already increased in our city, and surveillance will continue to increase in our city, just as it has from Paris. The problem with surveillance, a lot of you have talked about surveillance here that is gonna protect us. Let me tell you, it's actually quite the opposite. Surveillance is used by ICE to be able to identify our own immigrant families to take them away. This is a problem. Surveillance has been used by Texas sheriffs to be able to find people who have crossed the borders to get an abortion because they don't feel safe in their own state, and they've been used that to identify them. I'm sorry, surveillance is a problem. Third, our immigrants, our communities are already under threat. Federal agents will be increased in our city as we move towards the Olympics, and then further, the LAPD will come under federal control. Do we want that happening? They will have access to all of our information. We need to be asking the question, and I didn't even begin to talk about Airbnb. Right now, the Mayor Bass has already proposed that we give Airbnb more money. Sorry, they're gonna give us money so they can buy off our city.
Time.
We're going to increase the evictions of our families, and we don't even have enough housing. So there's a lot of questions we need to be answering in this moment, and I'm calling for a task force in the city to question whether or not we should be canceling the Olympics.
Thank you, Ray. I'm John Logsdon, and I am pro-Olympic. So that's why we have a democracy here, so we can actually talk about these things. So here's the thing. I think the Olympics are a gift for our city, for sure. This is Los Angeles, and this is going to be the third time the Olympics are coming here. Right now, think about it. We just had the games in Paris. How many people saw that on TV and want to go and actually visit Paris? Having the Olympics here is not just about those 2 weeks. It's actually an investment for the next 10 years. People are going to want to come here. That's tax bases for people coming and visiting Los Angeles, going to their restaurants, going to hotels. That's what it is. Tourism dollars drives revenue, which drives taxes. Perfect. Olympics, let's go.
All right. Listen, guys, I'm pro-Olympics, and I'll tell you why. I'm a businesswoman, and I understand what the worry is. But the truth is with the right mayor and the right leadership, this can be a big cash cow for us. This will help us a lot. What Karen Bass suggested was building TV screens so everybody could watch it online for free. I'm like, no. Let's open up our doors to our restaurants. Let's open up the businesses that close down, bring in pop-ups, and get people to buy stuff. People are going to come here from all over the world, and that's going to bring an economy boost to us. I know it might not seem like it now because we haven't even gotten into the particulars yet, but it will. And honestly, I'm an economy girl. I have so many plans to bring money to our city that we will cut city tax within my 3rd year of being mayor because I'm creative. Creativity is something that is lacking in our government. People don't know how to create revenue streams. They only know how to tax us to death. And I'm totally against taxing us to death. We need the Olympics, but we need good leadership. We need to know how it does. And, I just want to say, Ray is serious when she says that she's not about following systems. She's went over her time every single time she grabbed this mic. And so I think if you want somebody who don't follow systems, she's right there with it. Guys, listen, we need the Olympics.
Go ahead.
Yes. Hi, this is Assad Al-Najjar. So I think I'm the only candidate who actually works on the Olympics. So what it is, the history of it, Garcetti days, we went in and bid to get the Olympics. And LA 28 committee was started with the understanding they will be bringing revenue to the city so that they upgrade our infrastructure. I will try to answer without getting a call from my boss or ethics on Monday. But the reality is LA 28 committee all of a sudden has a change of heart going, you fix your city. We need 1.87 billion to get the city ready the way it is to accept people. How much we have? Roughly 44 million as it stands today. I work very hard with the Department of Justice, with the police and all that to get the city ready, but without being the mayor, and I get sworn in December, I will have 14 months to get the city ready. Any other mayor, with due respect, will have really impossible time because I have a decade working on it. I know exactly the operation, how we're gonna get the trash out, how we're gonna get the people, the buses I lined up because this is gonna be a no-car zone. So I have the buses ready, and I love the idea that Andreas is bringing to enhance, and I'll let him speak about it.
All right, here we
Because
go. Next.
His idea.
Let him speak about it because we're running out of time.
30 seconds. Oh, and I'm on red now? I thought he was in yellow. Oh, 10 seconds. Okay. So basically, the Olympics, I can do it, and probably all these great candidates can help me with it. Thank you.
Thank you, Assad. Thank you. Seriously, thank you so much. And I'll make it very quick. Look, so here's the thing. The reason we're scared of the Olympics is because we haven't had a mayor or leadership who could execute, right? I execute on plans and systems. That's what we need. We need the right execution. And like Assad was saying, my plan for LA is to increase the bus transit routes and supplement them with a shuttle bus system, right? So this will make this so that we can actually move people around our city. The Olympics are good for our city because it brings a lot of money in, which floats all of our jobs, all of our economy, but we got to make sure we're prepared, right? And so that we need a transit system that works for people. Additionally, we also need to make sure we're making money, the city, off of all these tourists. Right now in downtown LA, all around, they're warehousing empty apartments. They're not putting them on the market. They're reserving them for the 28 Olympics so that they can overcharge, so they can gouge. I'm in favor of rent control, of a rent freeze from now through the Olympics so that they can't do that. And then additionally, I want to put a 25 to 30% tax on all luxury accommodations. This is any place over $250 a night that's renting in LA during the 28 Olympics, 25, 30%, that comes back into our city. And that can make sure that we have enough money to cover any overages, right? Because all this money's coming in. We got to make sure that our city's prepared to collect it for the people.
All right,
And that's how I
so
run
we're
from
going to
there.
move on to the next question. So, no, that's it for this. That's it for this. I know you've been pointed out. Do you want to take a 30-second respond?
Yeah, happy to. So we talk about the fact that the Olympics is supposed to help our economy. The reality is the Olympic Committee has already said they're planning on considering contracts outside of Los Angeles that are more competitive, so that way, actually, our businesses are not going to actually be benefiting from the Olympics. Second of all, so many of our small businesses are closing, including Red Books, which I was just at the press conference and march with, in which case so many of our small businesses are not being supported, so they won't actually get to benefit. And even if they do get to benefit, they benefit for 2 months. What we need is infrastructure and a focus on the city of Los Angeles, Angelenos who live here now. So we want to talk about economy, we want to talk about finances, let's talk about the fact that it's going to bankrupt us, and we're not, us who live here
30
and our
seconds is
business
up.
owners are
Sorry.
not going to benefit from
That
it.
was the response. Okay, let's go to the next questioner. You know, we're running out of time. The next question, please.
Okay.
We want the next question because
Okay.
we're running out of time. We started late.
Sorry, this
John
is
is
actually
here
gonna
from the Harriet Tubman Center for Social Justice. He might let us go over it, but we'll see.
This is going to be a weighty question. So we've kind of touched on this here and there, but one of our biggest problems in LA is that there's over 40,000 unhoused people in this city. And the current mayor's solution, which seems like a one-size-fits-all, is called Inside Safe. It's extremely expensive, and the success rate has been abysmal. So what I would like to hear is, what are either fresh ideas that you guys are going to be bringing to solve this problem, or modifying the current existing system?
Thank you so much. Okay, so this is actually one of my top platform policy points. I want the city of Los Angeles to own and operate LA City-run public dormitories. The city of Los Angeles will purchase underused commercial and office spaces and convert these into 500, 600 beds at a time with wraparound social services on the ground floor. The LA Mission's already doing it. The cost is $15,000 to $25,000 per person per year, as opposed to $80,000 plus for Inside Safe, and we can use those savings to provide social services, mental health, addiction counseling and treatment, jobs training and placement, legal defense services, medical, right? That employs people. Instead of spending $500,000 putting somebody in a box, expecting them to fix themselves, we need to create a social situation, a social hospital for people where anybody whose life is broken can go there and get the social services they need, get a fresh bed, get a hot meal, get a hot shower, where we can take care of them at an affordable rate. Thank you.
Yes, hi, this is Asad Al-Najjar. So being one of the lead engineers in the city of LA, we do not need to reinvent the wheel. We have a plan we developed back in Villagrosa days. It got signed November 2015. Yes, 10 years old, but it's still operational. It got adopted partially by LA County. My colleague, Mayor Lair Agran in Irvine, is implementing it, and as you go there, you see it's working. Mayor of Beverly Hills. It addresses to the grassroots of the problem. First, it addresses the homeless families before they actually go homeless. It addresses the veterans. I will start renegotiating what we failed to accomplish Garcetti days, which is to get the veteran hospitals with the clinics that we could utilize immediately with alcoholism and the other programs. Yes, I saw the red. Thank you.
Well, the homelessness problem is the major issue of my campaign. This is Andrew Kim. Because we have Ms. Bass, who has been, from the last 4 years ago, she said LA's in crisis because the homeless problem is such a crisis that it requires a state of emergency decree by the mayor from the day one, but that has not occurred. Or that occurred, but it has not been effective. The reason why our homelessness problem still goes on like this is because of the misguided policy of housing first, as mentioned by this lady. It is recovery first that need to be instituted. We need a 12-step program or such that we can have these people to get independent living after going through the steps. Not handout, but hand up. We need to give them a fresh start and a productive living. Thank you.
Hello, Tish Hyman again. Well, I think I've done my plan out in phases. The first thing I would do is the first year I would spend time organizing the facilities. There are rehabilitation facilities we need mental health facilities, we need facilities for families who are just suffering on hard times. There are different type of people out on the streets and that are homeless. They're not all on drugs, they're not all alcoholics, they're not all mentally ill, and they're not all just, out there just living on the streets because they want to. Some of them are falling on hard times. What needs to happen is mandatory long-term treatment. And we need to build out the facilities, and we need to send a triage down there to find out the exact number of who's doing what and who's going through what. In regard to the dog problem that we have there, that I've been to Skid Row for at least, I don't know, in the last 6 years, I've been out there at least every other Christmas. And I'm telling you right now, if we get to the core root of the problem, which are sick people, help them get well, they won't be there abusing dogs because they'll be in the treatment centers. We have to get to the root of the problem. It's bigger than the dogs. It's the human beings underneath. We need mandatory rehabilitation, wraparound services. Thank you so much.
All right.
Hey everybody, I'm John Logsdon again. First of all, everybody up here has a big heart. This homeless thing, I got to be honest, we all know it is just a huge issue. We all think about it and how to come up with our own platform to make change. So here's the deal. We definitely need to tackle the root problems of homelessness, which is the safety nets. We need to make sure that we stop the homeless from actually happening. But there's so many different pronged approaches. We need to stop the addiction part of it is a big issue, and so is the actual mental health component. We need to have facilities for that, and we need to mandate that people, if someone's refusing service time and time again, and they're found inebriated on the streets, we need to have a place for them to go, and it just needs to happen. We can't ask somebody 100 times, and then they say, and they refuse, if they can even refuse. So we need to take a humanitarian approach, be very empathetic to this, but at the same time, we need to speed up this process. My campaign slogan is "Let's go," and I'm telling you, we need to make it happen quicker. Cut some red tape, make it happen. Let's go.
Is William Navarro in the house? William Navarro? Okay, I got some T-shirts for you. You want to answer this? Are you good? Yeah, if there's time. Yeah, then we're going to go to the next question.
So when it comes to homelessness, the way that we need to, housing first policies work. It is researched, it works in other cities, and we need to actually focus on it. We need to repeal 4118 because it just pushes people who don't have a home from one side of the street to the other. It displaces them, it destabilizes them over and over again. I've been very connected closely to the recovery community for a long time. What we need to do is stabilize people. If they're needing recovery, stabilize people and support them so they have stable housing so they can work on their recovery journey. The way that we get people out the streets is we be able to support them with a street team, supporting them, building that trust that they have lost. We move them, we need to get rid of the Inside Safe program. It's hundreds of millions of dollars going into a program that is not working and is a waste of our money, has no end in sight. Instead, we need to use all those dollars that we're using on 4118, which is expensive, inhumane, and doesn't work, spending all that money into Inside Safe and put it into real resources and into permanent supportive housing, such as social housing, which is what I'm advocating for, so that we have permanent housing solutions and permanent stability for everybody.
Okay, we're going to go. Maybe John, if you'll let us go to 6:30. So we're good. Then what we could do is everybody grab a chair and we'll put it up that way, because all this is volunteer. None of this is like being paid for. We don't have the big bucks. So, and this is our sound engineer. We ask you to tip her if you can, because we need the sound. But nobody's getting paid. I called, but they wouldn't give me no money. So let's go to the next question.
So good afternoon, candidates. My name is Paul Roberson. Los Angeles is one of the most diverse and internationally connected cities in the nation. While our city struggles with homelessness, affordability, and public safety, countries like Cuba are facing severe humanitarian hardships worsened by the U.S. sanctions and embargo policies. As a mayor or a potential candidate for mayor of a global city with large immigrant and international communities, what role, if any, should Los Angeles play in advocating for humanitarian relief and international solidarity while still addressing urgent local needs?
I'll be good this time. Brian Acosta. So I'm glad you asked that question, because we see this happening with money being sent to, for war, right, in Palestine. It's all connected. It's all the same thing. So one of the things that I'd want to look at as mayor is taking defunding some of those places where money is being allocated to go to war, to go to places that are hurting our neighbors and hurting international, because our money, it's our money that's going to hurt these people. So looking at contracts, looking at organizations that are going to sending money to send these things and make these things these things horrible on the national stage. So as mayor, I would definitely bring that to the forefront and make sure that our money stays here and helps people.
This is Assad Al-Najjar. I'll echo on what Brian said. So basically, you have to remember, the mayor's job of City of Los Angeles is to serve the people. It's a public works, LAWA, and water and power. Basically, the mayor is responsible for the streets, so the sidewalks, the power you get, and all the operation, street lights where I work, which is all dead, the wires are gone. The mayor job is nothing to do with international affairs. The mayor would do like Brian was suggesting. You ensure that the sister cities that you have all the relationship with are in abidance of the human rights. I mean, I'm for one, don't like what's going on, what happened in Iraq where I come from. I don't like what's happening in Iran. And I left Iraq when there was the Iraq-Iran war and the Palestine and all that. So the only way to do it is not to be the mayor of Los Angeles on a starch organization. If I don't win as a mayor, I intend to establish an organization, a 501c4, for the rights and human rights. Look, she got to get extra minute. I'm not going to abide with the red. Plus, you put the big eagle of Palestine there.
Excuse me, is his time up?
Yeah, my time up.
All right,
But
next,
I'm saying
next.
there is a picture,
All right.
nice picture there.
Okay, we're going to go a couple more questions, and we'll go to the line of questioners.
So I think that as a mayor, your primary duty is to be protective of our city. The public safety is the first concern, and also we want to make our streets safe, okay, and clean and maintained well. That's my first order of work as a mayor. So that's all policies that are local, so that we want to make sure that our city is clean and safe. I want to say that I'm not going to be in another country while city is burning. Okay, thank you.
As mayor, I will cut all contracts that are increasing genocide in any other country or war. As mayor, I will also be using the bully pulpit to call for us to stop funding militaries around the militarization and imperialistic endeavors of Donald Trump right now. And instead, we need to be focused on actually bringing our funding into our own city and into our own communities here in the US. The fact that we are funding our militaries, the amount of money that we're funding our military with is money that could actually save and end homelessness in our communities, can actually save and support our small businesses here, can actually help develop our economy and support our families with what we need, get us to become one of the best educational systems in the whole world. So there's so much that we could do, and we are wasting our dollars, and we're using that dollars to kill families and children around the world, and that needs to end.
Okay, this is actually more for the this is John Logs. This is more for the KPFK listeners, and I echo what Assad and Bryant said as well. But exercise your First Amendment right. Get out there. If there's something that you are fighting for, like Cuba, get out there and let us know about it. We are a city that loves to protest, right? So if you're fighting for something like that, get out there, use your First Amendment right, and then your voice will be heard, and then it'll actually might get to a level where we do something. The federal government or some organization actually helps. And like a country like Cuba, so to speak. There you go. Thank you.
Hey, John, great answer. But here's the thing. Go ahead. You have a seat. Media has been co-opted by money. KPFK is a listener-sponsored station. I'd like to say that right now. We are funded by listeners only. That's why we could have this forum. Otherwise, we wouldn't be having this forum. And so, but thank you. And we have been out there. But see, the visibility, like the visibility of you, they don't want you because they fear you. They fear KPFK. So, by the way, we have T-shirts out there before you leave. We need money. We fundraised. We have T-shirts. Okay, right here, check it out. T-shirt. Everybody go out with a T-shirt. All you candidates, you know how to ask for money. So get a T-shirt, and before you go out, look at T-shirt, KPFK T. You just got 2. So grab a T-shirt. That helps us out because, see, we volunteer. We volunteer because we have compassion for what's going on. And that's why we invited you here. I believe one of these candidates is going to be the next mayor. One of these candidates is going to be the next mayor. John.
Yeah, thanks everyone is here at the Harry Tubman Center. And, I'm wearing this shirt from Rosa Parks. Every December 1st, 5th is Rosa Parks Day. And the Harry Tubman Center was able to go there and give the city council hell, and that's how it happened. And we're going to give some hell now, so y'all better do the right thing. But I want to just say that, I'm glad that Kenneth Mejia was able to expose the budget and the priorities that are upside down. The top of the priorities is the police, and everything else gets defunded. What we need is gets defunded, and that's a backward thing. So, since the Washington Post started finding out how many people were getting killed since 2015, every year the amount of people getting killed goes up. Every year. 2024 is 1,365 people. It just keeps going up. So he shows us a systemic thing that's going on, especially against black and brown people. My son, every time he gets into the...
John, I love you, but ask the question.
Okay. Every time he gets there, I was going to have 2 quick questions. Every time he gets in there, I worry about what the police are going to do with him. So it's a systemic problem. We have to do something about it. And right now, the city council is going to take up a plan to be the ones that can fire police. Right now, the chief of police can't even fire their folks. So this is going to be coming up in June. So I wanted to see what folks feel about that thing coming. The second thing was I got to go to Iraq and Gaza with the former U.S. Attorney General. I had a stroke 3 years ago, and I can't get stuff all the time. But I got to see a lot of places. I saw the horror in Gaza in 2009. In Iraq, I saw what was going on, and the amount of people who are suffering from cancer because they use depleted uranium. All these horrible things that are going on. So what are we going to do about what's going on in Gaza? Right now, there's
From a local level, you're saying, what are we going to do about the international crisis? Okay,
right.
we got
Because
some
right now,
questions.
the city council, the city council, we're going to be
All right,
pushing
here we
them
go.
to have to divest away from Israel.
All right, here
so
we
that's
go.
the second
I'm
question.
gonna make it quick. I'm gonna answer your second question first. How are we gonna do it, Mayor of LA? Look, I represent the people of the city of Los Angeles. This is not an international affairs position. However, it is a cultural position, and we do have cultural positions. So I will advocate for the popular cultural sentiment of our people, which is not to promote these types of genocidal activities. So I will at least use the cultural power of the microphone to make sure that we're making that stance that LA does not support this. So that's your second question. Your first question, in terms of the police, in terms of, like I said, it's a culture problem there as well, right? We need to make sure that we have people here, and I'm actually one of the few candidates who's in favor of a civilian oversight commission for LAPD. We have charter reform commissions where civilians can then make, recommendations. Why don't we have that for LAPD? If you're LAPD officer and you've had multiple infractions against the public should review that, not LAPD internal affairs. The public should make the recommendation for that specific officer and recommend them for suspension, and that's what I'll advocate for as mayor for Los Angeles. Thank you. My name's Andre Salivra.
Hi, this is Assad Al-Najjar. So within the public works, we have civil obedience classes in which when one of my engineers or one of my draftsmen or whatever staff is out of line, then we have them in the civil obedience. And LAPD does not have this training or these classes. And this is what Andrea is referring to. So whatever the success stories we are having within public works should be implemented immediately in LAPD. There is no reason for the courses that is working in public works not to work in LAPD. Now back to your other question, and I didn't want to say that, but I'm going to say it. What you saw of ICE is just a drop in the ocean of the same troops did in Fallujah. It's the same training, and I think they classify them as zero classification, meaning do whatever it is, no questions asked, and nobody you have to report to. Time is up, I guess.
Yes, I'm sorry, so we have a lot of candidates. We're going to get these last 3 questions. They're going to have a minute closing comments from everybody, then we'll adjourn. And you have a question too. So you'll be right after them. You'll have the last question, 1, 2, 3, then closing comments, and then everybody buy their T-shirt. One of our sponsors was.
Please buy T-shirts.
Was one of our sponsors was Aki Bamboo. You can go over there and have dinner. They supplied that great Jamaican patties. If you want to have a further conversation, head from here to there. That would be great for them because they did it. They were our sponsors.
How's it going, candidates? My name is Jared Ford, founder of Freedom Uncensored and America First platform, and I think I'm the youngest person in the room. My question to you is, as an Angelino, I don't care about New York, Texas, or Washington. I care about the state of Los Angeles, not even San Diego or San Francisco. I live in Los Angeles, born and raised. How will you make sure that the streets that are named after Spaniards, the country that was built by immigrants, and the buildings that were built by blacks, immigrants, Mexicans, anybody from a different background, how will you make sure that the people of Los Angeles feel recognized and that you as mayor will serve them, no matter if they're Democrat, Republican, or independent?
Thank you for this question. This is Assad Al-Najjar. So working 37 years under the planning, the different plans, the 2020, the 2030, the 2050, and believe it or not, I'm still working on the 2060, even though I don't think I'm going to see it. But we do actually recognize all the diversified heritages in the Los Angeles area. And that's why we name cities, we name suburbs, we name a lot of the alleys to attribute all the cultures, to attribute all the great leaders we have here in Los Angeles. And actually, I am one of the advocates for the Made in Los Angeles label. When we did the trains here and we sold it to Qatar, they had the label on them, Made in Los Angeles, designed in Los Angeles. So in the planning, it is in there. Maybe it's slow because of all the other mayors are not pushing it, but under my leadership, I will push to have all the countries of the world represented in Los Angeles. Thank you.
Thank you for the question. This is Andrew Kim. We have that phrase called e plumus unum, which means from many to one. So we need to have a understanding our nation has a history of combining all these diverse background people and making American all together. So let's think of ourselves as someone who's appreciative of what America offered to ourselves, as a group, and as an individual. We Americans are proud people. I think that we have a problem not forgetting where we came from a lot of times, and we forget what we have today. Believe me, we have a lot today, and let's not forget what we have and lose sight of that and attack what we do not, continue to see what we do not have and lose ourselves while doing that. Thank you.
Mr. Kim, that was a mouthful. I really appreciate that. And you are my dream, young man. You are my dream. I'm working so hard because I want people your age. I want everybody young to get involved in politics because it's your future that we're here fighting for. So I'm so happy to see you here. Honestly, I don't know what I would do. I would have somebody like you tell me about it, and I'd be like, well, let's create a monthly program. I'm all about cultural activations. I'm all about exploring and celebrating our people, but we are all American. And that is what we need to remember at the core of us. We're all from different places, but like Kim said, we're forgetting what we have here. We have to celebrate our country. I've traveled all throughout Europe, Japan, and I'm telling you right now, we have the best country in the world. Unless you leave, you do not realize how blessed we are here as one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Especially if you got money.